This week's video is a little bit different. After a couple of very nice requests from your boy Ben over in the RKG Discord and the very friendly VanVelding over on Reddit, I decided to expand on the detail of the official loot box ranking system. And the first thing you need to know is I've heard they're going to be putting this on the front of game covers soon. So keep an eye out for that, because it is the industry recognised official rating system for video games. And I thought long and hard about the best way to convey that information to you, and I think the best way to do that would be to rate real world things using the official loot box ranking system. So let's kick things off with the first rank on the list, 0.5 loot boxes. So what would be 0.5 loot boxes good? When you order something from the takeaway, and then when you get the delivery, one of the items is wrong. That's 0.5 loot boxes good. Running out of hot water in your flat, the movie Teeth, dropping your phone down the toilet, they're all 0.5 loot boxes good. Onto one loot box good, licorice, getting stung by stinging nettles, having sand in your socks after you've been to the beach, release day No Man's Sky, and having a bit of a cold as well. On to 1.5 loot boxes good. Now, this is where it's starting to get a little bit better, but things aren't that great. We're looking at the second and third Matrix films, the last season of Game of Thrones, and accidentally tripping up out in public or something. And two loot boxes good. That's edging towards average, but not quite average. It's just a little bit below average. Things like feeling a bit hungry, most carvery roasts, and malwams. And then we're coming up to 2.5 loot boxes good, which is pretty average. It's your middle of the road. Things like plain digestive biscuits, cold McDonald's, Beck's, Mars bars, Coldplay. 3 loot boxes though, now we're moving up in the world a little bit. Now this is better than average. This is likeable. You know, things like bourbon biscuits, Rabbids, winning £2 on a scratch card that only costs you £1. Linda McCartney's rosemary sausages, they're pretty good. And then 3.5, so we're talking about things that are good, but they're not amazing. They're just solidly good, you know. Things like The Revenge of the Sith, Don't At Me, Motion City soundtrack, like that feeling that you get when you and your mate are thinking the same thing at the same time, and you're on the same wavelength. That's a high 3.5. And then 4 loot boxes good. This is pretty good. It's things like Isle of Dogs, the inside of a new jumper, when it's all fluffy, meerkats, stuffing on a good roast dinner. Could you tell I was hungry when I wrote this? 4.5 loot boxes good. Now, we're talking pretty good at this point. We're talking free pizza, good dreams, having a good dream. That's 4.5 loot boxes good. Things like UFOs, aliens, dinosaurs, the first season of Game of Thrones, Guinness, coffee, you know. And then 5 loot boxes good, and this is the best rating a video game can receive. 5 loot boxes good. We're talking, you know, there's not a huge amount out there that's 5 loot boxes good. We're talking about The Office, American and UK, both of them. The original Star Wars trilogy, whatever version of it you want to watch, they're all 5 loot boxes good. The extended edition Lord of the Rings original trilogy, that's 5 loot boxes good as well, officially. And just dogs are 5 loot boxes good as well. So that gives you some reference of the loot box rating system and how it applies to things in my personal life and basically how much I like them. That's what it is. But what we can do now is take some of the games that I've already reviewed and given official rankings and see how they weigh up to the things in the list that we've just named here. So you can just sort of see what we're working with and how good these games are. First up is Halo's Spartan Assault, a game that broke records by being the first ever game to receive an official loot box ranking of goodness. But Where this wasn't breaking records was in the content of the game itself. If you remember back to the first video in the Truth series, you'll remember that Halo Spartan Assault got a ranking of 2.5 loot boxes, making it about as good as Coldplay. Second on the list is Detroit Become Human. Now this was a game. This was a game. And if you remember, we gave that 4.5 loot boxes, meaning Detroit Become Human is as good as aliens, UFOs and dinosaurs. And our third review was for Outlast 2, a horror thriller of a game. At points, story let it down a little bit, but all in all, it was a good experience. Now we gave that 4 loot boxes, so it's pretty good, just about as good as Meerkats. And finally, and most recently, I reviewed Surviving Mars, and again, it was a good game, solid, lacked a bit of variation towards the end game, but a very, very enjoyable and replayable experience. Surviving Mars was also 4 loot boxes, which means it's about as good as the inside of a fluffy jumper. I hope that managed to shed some light on the ranking system and how it means nothing to anyone other than me. But if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.